From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LALATE.
It's a big day here on LALATE with incredible great details about your fourth stimulus check in this noontime broadcast. We'll be going over that monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon. Done deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people, but not when they represent it. They said the entire recon would become a law by the August recess. Those were the exact words. So why did they not deliver, and what had they moved the goalposts on this time? I have that in the second half of this video. Then we cut to the voting process. With the bipartisan now done for the Senate, all the voting starts on the recon today. Yes, congratulations, exciting, great news. But which recon? Is it not the recon we were expecting? I'll go over what they're saying and what they delivered. I'll compare and contrast, and you're going to be surprised of what happens next. Then we go over all the incredible details of this stimulus, which raises your benefits up a lifetime. And this is for SSI and SSDI and VA. It's just days away as FIS stimulus heats up. Then we cut to the big money across the board that viewers are getting, as one viewer got over $50,000. And it's your day to get this big money as well. I'll show you how to get it. The toast was toasted. The beach is surfing. I'm here, you're here. Let's get to noontime as the sun is coming out and it's ready for the news. Hey, good noontime, everybody. How you doing? I hope you're having a beautiful noontime. Boy, the weather has been spectacular here in Southern California. It's been cold at night in the low 50s, daytime in the low 70s. It's just like February in the summer. I'm loving it, keeping my fingers crossed. I'm adoring the weather. How are you doing? Jump on the live chat and tell me how the weather is where you're tuning in from and where you're tuning in from as well. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today, we'll go over that monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon. Done deal. They've agreed to the price tag. Now they're ready to vote on the recon, but which recon are they voting on? Not the one they promised. What's going on here? I'll explain to you what they promised and what they're delivering on in the second half of this video. Then we go over the voting process. With the bipartisan now done, what's next for the Senate with the recon? And then what's happening with the House? Then what's going on with the drafting? I'll have all the details and what's changed in the last 24 hours from what they represented and what they delivered. But then we cut to FIS stimulus, which raises your benefits up a lifetime. It's for SSI and DI and VA. It's just a few days away as this starts to heat up in the first week of September. And then this, as one viewer gets upwards of $50,000, I'll show you how to get all this incredible big sums of money. And this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America, live in the morning, like right now, and taped in the afternoon. Coming up next is Afternoons LALATE. This video will take you there automatically when it's over, so you don't have to do anything, sort of like what Congress does. Don't do anything. Just let your hands, slide, and then you'll automatically be taken there. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Coming up later is the new Afternoons LALATE at 3 o'clock. Then the new Evenings LALATE at 5, and then the sirloin and the Shavita at 8 o'clock. So subscribe, like this video, and consider becoming a Purple Hawk. And thank you for the nearly 200 new Purple Hawks joining daily. Let's cut to that monthly stimulus check starting right now. Senate versus House, House versus Senate. And what is going on with that pandemic? Well, when you look at the Senate versus House and House versus Senate, they both pay monthly stimulus checks. Just the number of checks and the amount is different. House, pandemic plus 1 year. Senate, July to December. Let's go over the House payouts. $1,000 after the first month. Senate, unknown, but word on the streets, the Senate would pay you this. Deliciousness, $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000. Or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. House bill, well, pandemic plus 1 year. And now, guess what? The U.S. military, they're considering requiring all active duty service persons to be vaccinated. Wow. And across the country, cities, counties, and states are now moving towards vaccination cards requiring you to have vaccination proof before entering an indoor business like a restaurant or a bar. With that, the House would pay more than 1 year checks, which would be more than 12 checks, which would amount to more than $13,000. Compare that to this. And the Senate? I think you have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House of Senate, and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. The Senate would start from the point at which it becomes a law, but go to December, so that would be less checks. But the House bill would start from where it is for pandemic, then plus 1 year. So that would actually be more checks across the board. Well, who gets this fourth stimulus check? You do. Democrats represent that. If you got a third, you're going to get a fourth. If you got a third, you're going to get a fourth. Single individuals, 75,000 or less. Democrats represent. They want to give you a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, 150,000 or less. Democrats represent. They want to give you a fourth stimulus check. Double it. Family of four. Democrats represent. They want to give you a fourth stimulus check. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits. Democrats represent. They want to give you a fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check is not income. The fourth stimulus check is not taxable. The fourth stimulus check would be the same amount for adult dependents and everyone else the Democrats represent. And the fourth stimulus check is not a waivable check. So if you are at the baseball game and you are in the stadium and it's time to do the wave and you do, and you sit down and you're watching the Dodgers at the plate, and then the check is to your left. Hey, check, how you doing? You didn't stand for the Dodgers wave. Giants fan. It's not a Giants fan. It's just not a waivable check. And it's probably also rude. There you go. In the second part of this video, we'll be going over the recon. A done deal. The Democrats have agreed to pass the recon at a price tag of $3.5 trillion during 2 caucus meetings over the last 2 weeks. We'll see if they're going to deliver as so promised. Today, the voting starts on the recon. But what they're not delivering is what they so promised about timeline. I'll go over why they're moving the goalposts, why Chuck, Nancy, Bernie, even Bernie, are not delivering on what they promise on timeline about the recon. Then in the third part of this video, we'll be going more into the timeline and what will happen with those incredible sums of money across the board. That's coming up later in this video. And then we turn to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up. It starts in September. Boy, we're just a few days away from that knocking on the door. Don't answer it. It may be Javita trying to sell you some scarves. But first, let's get some money. Get a pen and paper ready because I'm going to get you some rent, some utilities, some food, some internet, and more. When I started recording these videos a few weeks ago, I said for rent, I can get you 4 to 6 months of rent, $5,000 under third stimulus. Who said it's $5,000? Oh boy, it wasn't $5,000. No, it was $27,000. Wow. Congratulations to Elizabeth, who got $27,000 for rent as a viewer of this channel. Subscriber, a Purple Hawk. Mark, $25,000 he got for rent. Nancy, $24,000 for rent. Congratulations, Nancy. Congratulations to all of you. Richard, $22,000, and Nisi, $20,000. The numbers continue to come in. One viewer on this show 2 days ago got revealed she got $18,000 for rent. Other numbers coming in. Pamela got $12,000 for rent. Carla got 3 items. Tiffany got $13,000 of rent and 2 other items. Randy got 2 items. Among them is $7,000 for rent. And then Jennifer got $5,000 for rent and 2 other items, while Cecilia got some money for heat. When we turn to utilities, which is food, which is electric, water, gas, heating oil, I said I can get you $300 for that. Guess what? Bam. Bam. $7,000. Wow. Nancy, congratulations. She got $7,000 as a Purple Hawk for utilities from this channel. Mark, $6,500 as a member of this channel. And Angela, $5,000 as a Purple Hawk. Finally, people who got SNAP. I thought it was going to be $5,000 to $6,000. Are you ready? Are you ready? Drum roll. Bam. $18,000. My goodness, Louie, that is incredible. John got $10,000 to $12,000 for SNAP. SNAP is money for food. And Nancy, $5,000. Finally, for people who got multiple sums of money, 2 or 3 items from this channel, rent, utilities, food, or SNAP. Are you ready? Can I hear the drum roll? My goodness, here we go. OMG, Nancy, congratulations, getting $32,000 for rent, utilities, and also SNAP. Nisi getting $23,000 for rent, utilities, and SNAP. And Mark getting $32,000 from being a viewer and a member and a subscriber for 2 items, rent and utilities. Mark had gotten 2 items from this channel. And over the last week, I had recorded on air a message to Mark. I said, Mark, you got 2 items. Why did you not get the third? I mean, if you got rent and utilities, why not get SNAP? Art Sullivan got 3 items. Nisi got 3 items. You go get 3 items. He heard me. And so he went and got the third item, the SNAP. How much do you think he got? He was already at 32,000. You think maybe he got another 5,000, maybe another 6,000, maybe 8,000, probably to 40,000. That's what I thought was going to happen. And then Mark reported back. His neighbors got big sums of money, 20,000. He's telling viewers to come in, his neighbors, people down the street. He's sharing the videos. But then what did Mark get for that SNAP? He got $19,000 for a SNAP on top of the 32,000, bringing his grand total to $50,000. Wow, congratulations, Mark. And this, my friends, is LALATE. This is what we do here. Since day one, I've been focused on getting people big sums of money. When EIDL grants and loans were approved by the federal government, they said they were supposed to come in 3 days. They didn't come. So I stepped forward and I got people's loans approved, hand-holding and doing their loans on air and off air, on off camera. Sometimes getting upwards of 10 loans approved in 24 hours, 150,000 a pop. I got $25 million of EIDL loans and grants approved and saving people's businesses, their homes, and also their employees' homes. But in fall 2020, similar situation to now. The stimulus check was not coming and people needed money, so I stepped forward and I got viewers $250,000 for rent, paid their rent, their utilities, like Tyrone. Got his rent paid from December all the way to March. $15,000 for his family, 4 out of Boston. But we're doing it again right now. You're doing it. The only difference is, as a Purple Hawk, you're doing numbers we've never seen before. So if you just found this channel, or you've tried to get the numbers before, you've had problems, or you got one sum of money and you want to get the other items, let's get them right now. Starting with a pen and paper, get it ready. We're going to get some rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and also homeowners assistance. We're going to reach out to different places with different eligibility. If one says no, reach out to the rest. And also understand that they have their own pots of money. Finally, it's important to listen to the keywords I say, because viewers say that really helps them get approved. Are you ready? Here we go. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. Reach out to all 6 places. The keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus, or getting the recon into law by August recess. Yeah. So didn't do that, did you, Chuck? They don't know that. And there you go. If you got rent or utilities, post in the live chat right now. Let's now cut to some SNAP. Incredible news for SNAP. What is SNAP? It's money for food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom. Gail got it as well. And Louis got $18,000, John $10,000 to $12,000, and Mark $19,000. Eligibility is easier than a stimulus check. Why would you not get it? How much does it pay? Family 4 out of Boston gets upwards, Hawaii gets upwards of $16,000 a year. Wow, why so much money? Because of 2 wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. And so go get it. And if you got SNAP as well, post in the live chat your success stories. And we are only 13 minutes of this video, and we've got to $27,000 for rent. We've got to $19,000 for SNAP, and we've got to $9,000 for utilities, and we're just getting started. Let's get some money coming back for your states. It's that refund check due to overpayment of unemployment benefits and a computer error. It's landing direct deposit. One viewer got $3,000, another viewer got $5,000. When this month? But can you track it? Yeah, contact your state and say, hey, state, where's that check due to overpayment and computer error? And can you track it with a computer that actually works this time? And when you do, can you turn the computer on and sort of, plug in the keyboard? And there you go. The last part of the money is the refund check coming back from IRS. Let's say you had paid the taxes. That's coming back now. And that's at 2020 unemployment benefits payment of taxes on it. Margaret got it, Kyle got it, Michael got it. Where is it landing? It's landing in the mail or direct deposit, and it's a waivable check. Sorry, Mitch, I know you hate to hear that. The average wave recently was about $1,300. Mark got $1,400 for it, and there's a new wave every week with a new direct deposit and a new paper check. Before we continue with that, here's a personal message. If you're in the live chat and have not posted your rent or utilities or SNAP success stories, post them right now. Even if you posted on another video today, post it in the live chat you're watching right now. Why? Because I'm here to help you, and you help others as well. When you post a success story in the live chat, you help viewers 3 other ways. Number 1, when they see you post your success stories, they realize that, wow, I can go get as well. You inspire people. They may never have heard of Snap until watching this video, and then they realize, wait, I should go get Snap. They may have never thought of having their electric bill paid until they saw Nancy's report. So you inspire people to get the sums of money. Next, Art Sullivan got 3 items, Nisi got 3 items, and they inspired Nancy to go get 3 items. Then I said to Mark, you had 2 items, go get the third. So you inspire people to get 3 items. Finally, we get the update about the numbers and realize the numbers are bigger and bolder than we ever thought. All right, let's continue with that great news about the refund check for unemployment. Where's it landing? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. What month? This month. Can you track it? Yeah, go to irs.gov and do a transcript search. 70% of the time it works. It'll reveal the taxes you paid and the tax return you filed. It also reveals 70% of the time stuff you never wanted to see or know. Like when Ron Portman was on The Voice. Was it his voice or was it Nancy's? Because both of them are just not that pleasant. And can we top that? Yes, it also reveals the refund check coming back from IRS. We can, as we go into the second part of your 4th stimulus recon starting right now. Deal done. The Democrats have agreed in principle to the price tag of a $3.5 trillion recon. They'll put that to a vote starting today. This is incredible great news because the recon will have fortunes of checks for the American people. By reference, we had a first stimulus package, and we had a second stimulus package, and we had a third. This one is the biggest of all of them. Moreover, the prior stimulus packages, like the first one, nearly 80% or more was devoted only to corporate America. This one's 99% to the American people. So there's a lot of checks for all types of life. And that big price tag is what's getting decided on step 1. How did we get to this wonderful spot? By taking the roads and bridges out of the recon and putting it into something called the bipartisan, which has now passed the Senate. The confirmation comes from conservative publication, which says that originally the higher the price tag was on the recon, it wasn't able to be passed. Correct. Confirms my reporting. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending from the recon, the roads and bridges, and put in the bipartisan, the overall price tag of the recon got smaller. There you go. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon passable, and the recon made the bipartisan passable, which got passed by the Senate today. Now, what happened next? Well, once the recon was shrunk, the progressives were able to bring the recon out to a bigger, bold number, $3.5 trillion. You're going to hear in a second how I'm going to explain how the House can still go higher on that recon price tag. But they are ecstatic so far where it is. Representative Ilhan Omar said we have to have a recon that goes as far as we want it. You got it, Elon, $3.5 trillion. And then Representative Richie Torres said we have to have a larger recon. You got it, Richie, $3.5 trillion. In fact, the White House was meeting daily with the Progressive Caucus to ensure the recon went big and bold enough. They got it, $3.5 trillion. The White House told the progressives to protect the recon. Why? Because everything in the recon is checks for you, checks for the American people, what's called progressive checks. And Brian Schatz and Jalopal both confirmed, both as progressives and Democrats, they were told by the White House, quote, the White House considers the progressive priorities in the recon their priorities. Well, what is a recon and what is a bipartisan? And for the first time on Noontime LA, I'm going to detail the separation of recon procedural versus recon substantive. Why? Here's what you need to know. Several weeks ago, in June, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi told the American people that the recon would be law by July 4th. Then they realized the Democratic caucus would not support that because it had roads and bridges in it, so they took it out. Then Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Bernie Sanders, yes, Bernie, and Jalopal all said that the recon, the whole recon, would become law by August 4th. Well, yesterday revealed to us that's not the case. Why? They said that basically the recon procedural will become law by August 4th. That's not what you said before. By the August recess. That's not what you said before. You said the whole recon would become law by the August recess. So what's the difference between recon procedural and recon substantive? Let me go over all the details starting right now. Recon procedural is basically a box with nothing in it. Recon substantive is the contents of the box. What is recon procedural? It's really the 4 following questions. 1, do you agree to do a bill eventually, later on, by reconciliation? Yes, I do. Do you agree the total price tag of the bill, the total thing, will be $3.5 trillion? Yes, I do. And then number 3, do you agree that of that $3.5 trillion, that, for example, $135 billion will be dedicated to the Committee on Nutrition to later determine how to spend it on. Yes, I do. Done, finish. That's all it says. All it says is of the 3.5 trillion, we're going to be giving this amount of it money to this committee and this amount to that committee. Not as to subject matters, not as to details. It's what's called non-binding, meaning that the Committee on Nutrition is given $135 billion. And then in September, with recon substantive, then they decide on what they want to spend the money on. Wow. So that was not what they represented they were going to be doing by the August recess. They said they were going to do all of this by the August recess. Now they're saying they're only going to do the recon procedural by the August recess. More about this in a second. Let me go over recon versus bipartisan so you have the two separated, because trust me, even yesterday, Broadcast News was just butchering the subject matter. So recon versus bipartisan. Bipartisan is what passed the Senate today, and recon is now what's starting up. Recon is your money, and bipartisan is not your money. So recon is also called reconciliation. It's also called the budget bill. Price tag $3.5 trillion. People quoting an article about it are a AOC or Bernie. Bipartisan, roads and bridges, also called infrastructure, $1.5 trillion. Well, that's what passed the Senate today. People quote an article about Kristen Sinema, Ron Portman, or Mitt Romney. Okay. So who votes for a recon? A recon is voted for by Democrats, only by Democrats, to be passed by Democrats. Who writes a recon? Now, here is goalpost number 2 moved by Chuck Schumer. Since January, Chuck Schumer told us that the House subcommittees were writing the recon substantive. And this is what I was reporting to you based upon Chuck making that very clear. They were writing the recon substantive. Who writes the recon substantive? Well, those committees are in the House. The House subcommittees are writing the recon substantive. And under the Constitution, they're dedicated to different subject matters. For example, House Ways and Means is responsible for writing stimulus checks and unemployment benefits. And when each of those subcommittees are done, let's say it's 10 subcommittees with 10 topics, they combine what they've written and send it up to Chuck Schumer, and he puts a big S on it. And that was the item we were expected to see in written format yesterday. It didn't debut. So where is it? Chuck Schumer revealed yesterday they haven't even started writing it. What? Chuck, that is not what you were saying. You were saying that they had been writing this recon in these subcommittees since January. So what have they been writing since January about the recon? Zero. Literally zero. I can't believe this. Unacceptable, Chuck. Nancy, Bernie, unacceptable. You've written nothing about the recon since January. We've been sitting around all these weeks. You've written nothing about it. It's unacceptable. So when this recon is written, when is it written? In September, in recon substantive, after recon procedural is passed this week, presumably. And when that 100 pages goes up to Chuck and gets a big S on it, what is that S for? Schumer? Salty? Seductive? No, I would put a big S on it for slow. Just unacceptable. Unacceptable. It was supposed to be done. You're supposed to be, what are you doing? I mean, what have you been doing for 4 months, 5 months? It's just, I don't understand what you've actually been paid to do over the last 4 months. So that is when you would see the substantive bill. And how did we get to the spot? Well, Jolapal had written a letter to Schumer saying, Chuck, call the vote on the recon. I don't think she meant just the vote on the recon procedural. I think she meant the recon, the whole darn thing, which is why Schumer said the whole recon was going to become law by August recess. No, Chuck, you never said just the recon procedural. And that letter was signed by 12 House Democrats, part of the 100-plus House Democrats who recently wrote the president a letter saying, we're going to be putting 4 stimulus checks in the 4th stimulus package. Well, Purple Power, you got to keep these people their promise, because people are sort of changing what they're saying by the second. You got to keep these people their promise. Can we top that? We can. As 7 members of the House Ways and Means Subcommittee, oh, the one that hasn't started writing anything yet? Yeah, that one. You know, normally at that point, I would say the people that are writing your 4 stimulus, at this point, I pause. I say, no, the people have not started writing the 4 stimulus. I just, it's August. What have you been doing all these weeks? They recently wrote the president saying, when we write your forced stimulus, you notice how they put it future tense? When we write your when we get to writing your forced stimulus, we're going to put monthly forced stimulus checks in there. Purple Power, you got to push them to start writing, and you got to push them to keep their promise about that monthly stimulus check. Can we top that? Yes, we can. As the president went overseas 7 weeks ago to sign something in a ceremonial signature, but the actual signature happened days ago. It's the global minimum corporate tax rate. What's the global minimum corporate tax rate? It's a thing that is not in the forced stimulus, which makes it easier to write, had they be actually writing it. First, it's not in the forced stimulus, so it's easier to write. Then it makes it easier to call the vote on the recon substantive, which they haven't done yet. Makes it easier to vote on the recon substantives, what they aren't doing yet, and makes it easier to pass the recon substantives, which is coming up shortly. Can we top that? Yes. As we go into the final part of this video, we'll be going over this recon procedural, which is being called for a vote this week. Chuck Schumer moves the goalposts on this one as well. Another goalpost moved by Chuck Schumer? Yes, you're going to be surprised about all the details. And then we cut to fifth stimulus, which heats up just for days, in days from now, as we see that rise of your benefits, or SSI, DI, and VA, and more. But someone that's actually dependable and actually does their work, it's the volunteers. If you need help with rent, utilities, food, and internet, and you've had problems getting it yourself, then reach out to the volunteers. They volunteer their time and efforts as salt of the earth, as viewers trying to help you. And if you need help, how do you find them? Open the description of this video. Go down the description, you'll find the volunteers. They're on the community page. It's news.la.com/community. Click the link, it'll send you to the community page. And I'll be back with you in 60 seconds with big details about the voting process, what the vote is happening today, and what the vote is tomorrow on the recon. Stay with me, I'll be back in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Noontime LA with big news about why Chuck Schumer continues to move the goalposts. You're going to learn in this recording in just 10 seconds from now why the vote today is also not the vote on the recon, as Chuck Schumer represented about that either. Excuse me? Yes. Getting a little seasick? I think we are. As Chuck Schumer continues to move the goalposts, we'll find where this one lands in just a second. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up a lifetime. That's starting in September. But first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers for a YouTube record for a reason. When congressional leaders don't keep their promises and change the goalposts, we stay on top of them. And in a recording like this, I appreciate all your incredible comments during the commercial break where people are not happy and have different versions of what that S should be on top of that, that 100-page bill, in addition to the word slow. So subscribe, 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Let's cut to someone else who didn't keep his promise. This guy. Yeah, during the campaign trail, he said he was going to raise your benefits up if you're on SSI and SSDI. He didn't do it. Then during the transition papers, he put in writing. I mean, it's not like he verbally said it. He put in writing, page after page, he was going to do it. He didn't do it. So now the Democratic senators and House members are vowing to take care of it for you in just a few days. It's fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus starts in September, and it's that SSI reform that the president had promised to you when running for president. And how does this work? So they represent that it would start in legislating in September, go to a vote by November. They represent that it would hit your bank accounts by about November. The benchmark would be applied in December for next year's benefits. Let's go over how this works starting right now. Step number one, they raise your benefits up. Number two, they remove the asset limit. Then they apply the inflationary benchmark. Then they remove the income exclusion, and then they remove the marriage penalty. Let's go over all the details first. Who is applied for it? You. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, or multiple beneficiaries. Step one, they'll raise your benefits up lifetime. Step two, they'll apply a new benchmark. The new benchmark will be inflation. When? December. Where is inflation going to go? It will be transitory, says Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve. What does transitory mean? It means a temporary spike before it goes back down. When? In December. Perfect timing, right when they apply your benefits. Now, because of running time, I'm not going to go over too much about that inflation rate. I covered it this weekend on Afternoons LA. But I'm saying it will spike temporarily for 5%. My market indicators suggest. Let's just use 5% for now. First, they'll raise your benefits up. Then they'll apply the benchmark. If it is 5%, you'll go up another 5%. Not just next year, but lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. So if the inflation rate is 2% the year after that, you'll be plus 2, plus 5%. Next, they'll remove the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. Now you have room to have some muddled. Did you just call this muddled? No, not KC Royal anything. Blue, not teal either, in your hand. Great all accounts. And then finally, they're going to remove the income cap, dating back to the 1960 law that says you can't work and stay on benefits, and they'll remove the marriage penalty. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to do the pair dance at their wedding, get married, and no longer fear loss of benefits. And if your benefits were lost because of penalty, they'll be restored. And there you go. Those House Ways and Means subcommittee members, meantime, represent they're giving you a fifth stimulus check under the fifth stimulus package. Finally, let's turn back to what's going on with the following. If you're in the live chat and you know people who are Purple Hawks, you got to become a Purple Hawk. What are you doing? Click the join link under this video. Daily Purple Hawks are delivered from me a breakdown of all the big money that's available for them to get application base in the third stimulus package and what is going to be in fourth and fifth as well. Here's what's happening. In fall of 2020, there was a $600 second stimulus check that was slated to come out. But I told viewers, don't be focused on just the $600 stimulus check because there's a lot of other money in this second stimulus package, and I can get you $6,000. That's what Tyrone did. He focused on the other sums of money and got $15,000, paid all his rent to the new year. In January this year, I launched the Purple Hawks to describe people who pounce and get the big sums of money that are application-based in these packages. Hawk. When third stimulus was passed, there was a $1,400 stimulus check in there. And I said, don't be focused on only the $1,400 stimulus check because there's big payments of other monies in there, like rent and utilities. I can get you $14,000. I didn't get viewers $14,000. I got viewers $30,000. $40,000, $15,000, $20,000 across the board, because these sums of money are in these stimulus packages, application based. As a member, I deliver all these details for you daily from the community page. This is how the government works. The government understands you have a series of bills at home. Let's say there's 8 of them. And of those 8 bills, they may be rent, utilities, food, medicine, and then maybe you have the roof, the car, and some kids' shoes you have to pay for as well. That's 7. So let's say of those 7, the federal government is not going to fix the roof and is not going to pay for the car, not going to get those shoes paid for either. But they'll pay for those other items. And so the government will pay for the other items. Let them pay for those other items by applying. Because if you have the government pay for rent, utilities, food, internet, and all these other items, then suddenly it alleviates the financial burden you had from paying bills on those items. When the federal government pays those items for you, it creates financial freedom for you so that you can have the money you would normally spend on those items, now to spend to fix the car, fix the roof, and put those shoes on the kids' feet. And there you go. And with that, let's cut into the final 15 minutes, starting right now with the forced stimulus recon done deal. The Democratic senators have agreed over the last 2 weeks on principle in caucus mode only as to the price tag of the $3.5 trillion recon. So what is coming up next? Chuck Schumer, Nancy, Biden, Jalopal, all these people, Bernie, all these people had represented that the recon would be law, the whole recon, by the August recess. But then yesterday, they shocked us all by saying, no, just the recon procedural will be law by the August recess. What is recon procedural versus recon substantive? Let me go over the separation. Recon procedural only asks and answers 4 basic questions, approximately. 1, do you agree to do a future bill by reconciliation? Yes, a future bill. Number 2, what total price tag are you dedicating for this recon? $3.5 trillion. How much will each committee in the government get for the recon? We agree to give $135 billion to the Committee on Agriculture. We agree to give $300 billion to the Urban Affairs Committee. Done. Deal. That's it. That's all the recon procedural says. Then, after that is passed into law, then they come back and do the recon substantive. And at that point, those committees that got those sums of money in the government, they then say, okay, how am I going to spend the money? The Subcommittee on Nutrition, $135 billion. Who gets the money? How they get it, which group, how do they get it, what term, all that type of detail. They write it up, they combine those pieces of paper into one massive bill, and that is the recon substantive. We were told this was going to be all done by the August recess. We were never told it was only going to be the recon procedural, which is just a box with nothing in it, by the August recess. So let's now cut over to the bipartisan shortly before I cut back to the recon. And let me also go over first in time and all those details. So the bipartisan has now passed the Senate. This is the roads and bridges. That's only the Senate. It's not law yet. It now has to go to the House and back to the president. But what about first in time? Leader Schumer, Nancy, everyone involved said the recon originally was going to go first in the Senate. They changed on that as well. And so they did the bipartisan first. That's fine for us. But my big question is the following. The president has your back on the total situation. And Nancy says she's not going to call the vote on the roads and bridges until the recon is done in the Senate. You know what I'm about to say. You have to hope that Nancy also means the whole recon, not just the procedural recon, because the procedural recon's nothing. It's just step 1 of 2 steps. You have to hope she means I'm not doing the roads and bridges in the House until the whole recon is done by the Senate. So let's go to the president's comments. Of the 2 comments, his is the better one because he protects the whole situation. Remember, the president, when he has something on his desk, the whole thing has been done. So he says that he will not sign the roads and bridges into law unless he has the recon totally done on his desk as well. As the bipartisan, if only one comes to me and that's only the bipartisan, I'm not signing it. They have to come to me in tandem, the recon and the bipartisan. Good, that's good. Then he says, I'm not just signing the bipartisan, forgetting about the recon. I propose also the recon. That's good. Let's go to Nancy's quote. Now, we have to assume Nancy means she's referring to the whole recon and not just the procedural recon, because just the procedural recon wouldn't be enough for us. Her statement about this is the following. She says that, as I said, there won't be a bipartisan unless we have the recon passed. Plain and simple. In fact, I use the word ain't. There ain't going to be a bipartisan unless we have the recon passed first by the United States Senate. You have to assume that means the whole recon. Then Jalopal says our caucus is not going to vote for the bipartisan unless we have the recon. Again, you have to hope they mean the whole recon. All right, now let's cut back over to the recon. Let me go over the separation more about the recon procedural and the recon substantive and get to the newest goalpost that Chuck Schumer is moving as well. So we just saw that Chuck Schumer is not doing the whole recon by the August recess. He's only doing the recon procedural, which is How much is the whole thing going to be, and which subcommittees get which sums of money? Then he's representing that in September, when those subcommittees are dedicated certain sums of money, then they come back and they write out how they're going to disperse the money among them. As you sit here right now, we don't have the recon substantive bill written. But we were told over the last few months they have been writing it. In fact, they haven't written it. So if you anywhere on the street, at the coffee shop, hear someone say, I saw the recon bill this week and there's no stimulus check in it. No, there is no recon substantive bill. They, in fact, has not even been written. What you're seeing this week is the recon procedural bill, which has nothing about where money goes except to committees. Committee on Agriculture gets this, committee on that gets that. It doesn't say what they're spending the money on. That doesn't come until September. So then what's the next goalpost Chuck is moving? The next one he's moving is how they're voting on the recon procedural this week. Really, Chuck? Yeah. So Chuck, several times this weekend, several times last week, said that as soon as the roads and bridges was done, we were going to go right into a vote-a-rama for the recon total. That was at the time he said total recon. So what is he doing now? He's changing that as well. He's saying, no, we're going to go into a normal voting on the recon first, recon procedural, and then we'll do a vote-a-rama on the recon procedural shortly thereafter, before the August recess. Again, not what you said over the weekend, Chuck. Not what you said last week either. You said we're going to start vote-a-rama right away, which is 50 hours, and we would be done. So really big surprise there as well. Now, the next step is the House. Can the House modify just a recon procedural that only has a price tag, total price tag, and a breakdown of the different committees, how much they get? Yes. So the House, when it gets, it could say 3.5 trillion, that's not enough. We need 3.9 trillion. We need 4.1 trillion. We look at this and say, nope, that's not enough more money, put more money in there. And they can modify that. If they modify it, then it goes back to the Senate and they modify that again. Then in September, they come back with whatever they agreed upon, a price tag, and start putting that to a vote as well. A lot of twists and a lot of turns across the board. Meantime, I really, if you tuned into Mornings LA, it was a wonderful group of people in the live chat. We had one viewer in the live chat whose grandson, Austin, Austen, is in the is a newborn child in the hospital with a collapsed lung. I ask you to include Austin in your prayers. The reason I also bring up Austin and his granddaddy, who is in the live chat, is because of the spirit of the purple power. This was a viewer who is in the live chat who is not a member. And yesterday, I put the live chats as members only for 24 hours. Why? Because it was important for me to get to you how Chuck Schumer had changed his narrative so dramatically, so you hear it from me first and get caught up. Because I didn't want you to hear external false narratives coming into the live chat with people saying something like, it's not in there, it's not in there, it's actually no bill yet. So I wanted you to hear the full narrative. Had I had the chat still closed to members only, I would not have seen the message about Austin. So what I ask you to do is two things. One, keep Austin, that's with an E, Austen, in your prayers. And number two, when someone jumps in the live chat, if they don't know the situation and how dramatically and how it has changed because of Chuck Schumer not keeping his promises, update them accordingly. If they think it's something and you now know that what their statement is incorrect, update them accordingly. And if they get rude, report them. And with that, I look forward to seeing you next on Afternoons LA at 1 p.m. This video will automatically take you there. Then at 3 o'clock is the new Afternoons LA taped minutes ago. Then a new Evenings LA tonight at 5 o'clock. Stay on this video, it'll automatically take you there. You don't have to lift a finger, sort of like your senators. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record of fastest growing channel of its kind. Hit that subscribe button. I want you part of this loving family where everyone helps each other, everyone keeps each other's wishes, and keep Austin and his family in your wishes as well. Like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member so that you get access to all this incredible money delivered to you daily on the community page written by me. every day across the board. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful noontime, and I'll see you next on Afternoons LA at 1 o'clock.